Hey, welcome to another episode of Dave's Imaginations. Today we're going to take a look at a new 3D map making software I'm going to use to make maps for my Dungeons & Dragons game. Stay with me, we're going to talk all about it. So, recently I was making my Dungeons & Dragons game and I needed a map of a tavern. And I went to the internet, Googled it, like I always do. I found a map that worked out just fine and it was great. But then later I learned that Dungeon Alchemist, about this software called Dungeon Alchemist. And let's jump over and take a look at it. So, this is Dungeon Alchemist. I'm playing this on Steam. I bought it off Steam for about $45, and boy, is it cool. When you first get in, it looks something like this. It gives you a default map with a default layout, and from here, I can just go to File, and I can just say New Map, and I can customize how I want. Do I want to print this on paper, or do I want a digital version? How big do you want? It advises you to keep this kind of small. Because it's using your computer resources, and the larger you get, it's going to really slow down. I tried like 300 by 300 and my computer almost slowed to a stop. And I have a halfway modern iMac. By the way, I'm running Apple products. In here, you can see that you have a variety of things to select. We already talked about digital and the width and height. Here you have terrain. You can select from a number of different types of terrain. And then within that terrain, you can say, is it mountainous? What kind of vegetation? Is there water? At what level are you going to place the rooms? And is there going to be weather? And so I'm just going to switch this from mountains. And here you can see you have a variety of different types of elevations. I'm going to click on hills. And from here, I'm just going to click create. And you're going to see that comes out very similar to what I had on screen. I can zoom in, zoom out, which is pretty typical. And you might not be impressed so far, but check this out. I haven't added any structures at all, and I can go 3D mode here and put it on an axis, and I can draw buildings. So here on the left-hand side, I have my menu. And let's start off by drawing a building. Here I'm in the middle field. What does the middle field need? Does it need a crypt? I think we need... Let's go ahead and do a village. Let's do a village, and let's do a farmstead. Let's do a farmstead. And we're going to draw a farmstead. And so let's just draw a house. We're going to draw a house. So right there, maybe this is the living room to this house, and I can actually specify. Let's see what it gives me here. Yeah. All right. Zoom in. There's our main room to a house. But you know what? We need a place to sleep. So let's add on a room. I told it a farmstead. Now I'm adding a room. Now this is using artificial intelligence to guess at what I want. Now it's telling me, hey, it made a second dining room. I don't need a second dining room. But before I change this, I can go ahead and I'm going to make one more room. And let's see if we can mix this up a little bit. Yeah, another dining room. Okay, so that's not helping me. No, let's see here. Let's go and we're going to click on this room. We're going to click on this. We're going to click this change button, and we're going to change the theme from farmstead, a mansion, and a mansion, great hall. We don't want a great hall. We want a bedroom. Nice, kind of a fancy bedroom. What else do we need here? Maybe a kitchen. Let's go to this next room. Let's change this from a dining room. Let's change this to instead a kitchen. And let's try a kitchen from the tavern. I guess one of the things from this is you do need to know where to find it. So here I see there is no kitchen in the tavern. Let's change this back to mansion. All right, so there's a kitchen. Nice big hearth table with a big hunk of meat on there. You can zoom right in on this. And it just says, hey, if you're making this, you probably want this. Now, here's one thing. You notice that the walls, this room was made off a mansion, and maybe we don't like those walls. And I can just change those walls and find the type of wall I want. And I want to change the walls on this to match the rest. Boom, just like that. And you know what? That bed's too fancy. So let's go in here and I'm going to touch this bed. I'm going to get rid of it. Delete, bong, gone. And I'm going to change that. And I'm going to go into my objects, my items, and I'm going to look for bed. And let's see what kind of beds do I get. I'll look at all these different beds. Pillows. I think we're beyond the typical bed zone. Place that here. And then we got a bed. And what's this side? We don't want that. We don't want some sculpture. We don't need a sculpture. What we do need though maybe is closet. There we go. We can have a closet. Let's take this closet. We're going to put that right. Oh boy, it's huge. Now that's another thing we can do. All right, we're going to size this down. We can resize this asset. Oh, look here. This skeleton is in my way. And I can rotate this asset. But before I do that, I want to let go. I want to get rid of this guy right there. Canvas around because I want to see that wall. And here I'm going to twist this. And I'll turn around. I got to back it off the wall a little bit. And then we can turn around. Oh, there it goes. Popped into place for it. That's what I want. Just like that. Fantastic. Now, here's another thing. You can see that the windows are all different. So we might not want what we want. Maybe we want the windows to match. Wood windows. And so let's just get a nice cabin window. Yeah. And we can just start replacing windows. Now let's turn this around again. Is that a picture of my wall? All right, this is something I've not tried yet. Seemingly, I understand there's a way to change that picture. Oh, I don't want to do that because I want to take a closer look at that picture. Can I pick that? And then, oh yes, it's going to let me pick my own picture. That's cool. Take my Dark Queen Ascension open and look at that. Let's zoom in on that. Yeah, how cool is that? Now, Dungeon Alchemist is connected to Hero Forge. And so, but it's not as good as you thought. Dungeon Alchemist is connected to Hero Forge, but it's not as good as you might think. All right, it works great. It works great. It just, they make you pay for it, right? Hero Forge says, hey, yeah, you can use our digital asset, but it's not the same asset that you downloaded to have it 3D printed. This is a different digital asset and you have to pay again. So for $8, you can get your digital asset as a token, as an object that you can import into 3D software. And so to do that, you connect the accounts and make it very easy. You get your access key for each. Now, in full disclosure, I do have a premium subscription to Hero Forge. I'm not sure where the lines are, but it works. I put my access key in one and the other, and I connected them. And then once I bought the assets as a digital object, I was able to bring them into Dungeon Alchemist and use them and put them in maps, and you'll see here in a second. So here's a little house, and let's just say, you know what, maybe this is the house that our friend Yagoff lives in. So I go to my tokens list, and I bought a bunch of tokens. All right, I spent some money. Not only did I buy this software, I made our whole team, and so in here, since I had a reunion with my old friend Yagoff, I brought him in, and I just click on the guy, and I place him in the map. Now, like native software, we have this controller up here. I'm just going to touch this, and it's going to put me in top-down 360 view here above, and you can see. And wherever Yagoff is, there's also Wheezy. So we're going to put Wheezy in here. Now, to be expected, I can't pose my characters, right? This is Hero Forge, right? Whatever I design is what I got. So there are my two characters. Now the cool thing here is, do I have a front door? Do I even have a front door? There it is off to the left. All right, so there's my front door off to the left. You know what? I want to change that door. I want to change that door so that it is a door that has a little bit of an awning to it. So where's my doors? A single door. And in here, I think one of them has, yeah, right here. This is the one I want. I want to take this and I want to put it right there. Just that easy. All right, so I'm going to take Yagoff. I'm going to take this object. I'm going to take him outside. And we're going to rotate him around. And take a look. Let's go. And right here we have this eyeball, right? We're going to click the eyeball. And now you get to see what he sees. How cool is this? Now, apparently there's a little bit of a hill here. And you can see, here's his house. And Now, this map was counted as a 30 by 30 spot. Here's this house. Now, I'm going to jump out of this because there is a setting. There's a setting somewhere. Okay, so in the room tool, in the generic room, you click on a room and it says, hey, do you want to show ceilings in this room? And I'm going to say yes. Show open sky in this room in cinematic mode, or show ceiling in this room for that. So we want to show ceilings, and let's see what it is for the rest of these. Show ceilings. And show ceilings. Fantastic. Okay. Back to Yagoff. Clicking on his token, going into iBuild mode. This is what Yagoff sees. Now, right away I could say, you know what? Why is my house down in a pit? Anyone knows you should not have the ground sloping towards your house. And that is just beckoning for flooding. So we're going to jump out of this. And why don't we are going to flatten the earth. So we could do that. We're going to go to the terrain and we're going to hit this. Well, we're going to flatten to room height. And I'm going to make my brush strength. Yeah, we want it totally strong and we want it totally big. And we're just going to flatten the earth. We are flat earth people here in Dungeon Alchemist. And so I'll probably fast forward the video as I do this. Heavenly Hills was aesthetically pleasing, but for my house, I'm not going to build my house in a pit. I'm just flattening the earth. We are flat earth people. Oh, here you can see the vegetation as objects, so I can move these trees wherever I feel nice. And so again, I'm going to click on Yagoff, and I'm going to go into bird's eye view, and much better. Oh, here you can see a little light in there, looking in the windows, but the door's closed. Now, you see here we have a camera that we can control, and I can just use WASD and move forward, yep, and backward with the S, and I can move forward, and can I strafe? I strafe, and here when my camera goes over the door, I just click on the door, and honey, I'm home. Oh, there's Yagoff. She doesn't look very happy to see me. I wonder if she burnt my dinner. Let's check. Let's look in the kitchen. Well, there's a nice big piece of meat. That ought to work. And 2 big glasses of ale. I wonder what kind of meat that is. I don't know. There's a hunk of bread, or is that cheese? All this, and the cool thing is I didn't have to pick any of this. Right? The AI just said, "Hey, if you're making a kitchen, you probably want this stuff." So then I spin. Can I spin? Oh, I spin by moving my cursor, pointing at different. Oh, there's the cheese, huh? I wonder who cut that cheese. And honey, Wheezy, let's check out the bedroom. Huh? Can we check out the bedroom? And I am so psyched. Look at that picture. Look at that picture on the wall. Climb up the bed, take a closer look. How cool is that bed? I wonder if I could turn that picture sideways. Oh, look here. It has its own decoration. Yeah, that's where it's going to be. Paintings. Yes. I want a big sideways one. That's the one I want. So let's take that and let's put that right here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's probably a different way to spin the other way. Let's see. That was to spin it, I hit the Q. Now I can hit the E. Yeah, okay, the E takes the other way. But now I can go back again and I can find my picture. And yes, look at that. So now I can go into, we're happy with that. We're going to click on Yagoff again. We're going to go into bird's eye view. And we're going to, oh, looky there. The whole crew. Just what I'd want hanging over my bed, right? The adventure crew. That is great. All right, let's escape out of this. Now, the other thing I want to show you, if I jump over to Foundry, here I am in Foundry, and you might, jumping over to Foundry, this is the map I was talking to. I need a map. I downloaded this map. I created this. I threw in a whole bunch of people. Our gang needed to go talk to the bartender, so they set up a meeting with the mystic to get some intelligence on the well of dragons that came in here, and to this crowded tavern with all these tokens in here. Now this is Foundry. I run my game on Foundry. I imported the map to it. I populated with all these different tokens, and I put our tokens in here, and immediately Barkman went over to the corner. Our gang went up to the bartender, asked and did a little conversation there, arranged the meeting. They went into the back room, and there's a couple of revelations. First of all, Yagov's an old character of mine, so that was a fun revelation. But the big reveal here was that Narenvain, the wizard they just battled some weeks ago, was sitting here in the bar. And they might recognize all of our guys were in disguise, but they also was this Zias person. The Zias lady, they thought they had killed, but somehow she survived. So all that. The other thing was they had this Loreskin person telling the red wizards that he could sell them some wormlings. And otherwise, they went into this back room, they had their conversation, got the intelligence they needed, and then they exited the side door as they made their way out. You got all that in the recap video, but so this is the map I used. Perfectly fine, not a problem with it. But check out the difference. Check out the difference when we use the one I created using Dungeon Alchemist. 3D, it's crowded. All right, this is pretty cool. Now, one thing that's pretty neat is not only was I able to save this as a JPEG and put it in as a map, and it has much better vegetation, right? And the tables all look 3D and all are populated. It's really cool. Now it's a little bit more crowded. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but it's a little bit more crowded. I was able to make the route. Now I did all this. It took me an hour. It took me an hour to draw this map. Right? The other way, it probably took me an hour to find the map I needed and get it right and build it in anyway. So it's probably a wash there, but it is so cool. As we look at and we see everything completely custom. Now, the other map was not perfect. The one of this bedroom, this room where I put the table and the couch, was actually just another bedroom. I used Photoshop to make this look like this. So I had to manipulate this anyway. And so when I was creating the Dire Dragon Inn in Alchemist, I was able to design that from the get-go. Now, another thing that's really cool about this is that it recognizes the walls and the lighting. So this map I did just JPEG, then I created it again, and I imported it this time with the JSON file, the JSON file. And now with the JSON file, it brings in, it knows, hey, this is a wall. Well, let's make it a wall. So off here on the left, wall controls. I click on that, and here you can see it says, hey, there's walls. Hey, this is a door. Hey, this is a window. But not only that, it has lights. Hey, this is a light, and you can see all the different. Now, if this was dark, if this was nighttime, you'd see it better. So let's go ahead and let's go nighttime, transition to darkness, and all of a sudden you can see the illumination that this brings. Pretty darn cool. Now you can see that I don't have everything lit up very well. I can add more lights to my discretion, but that is pretty darn cool. And I didn't have to do anything. I just brought it in. Okay. I did have to bring in my tokens. That is all these little chips, all these. I'm gonna go back to our character tokens in here. I had to bring those in, right? But since I already had them on another map, it was a very easy copy paste. Put them in there, easy enough. So that is way cool. Now, in full disclosure, I don't play with lighting very much. I don't play with walls. I don't play with fog of war. Maybe my players wish I did, but I don't. And that's mainly because at my table, I'm looking at one map with 5 people around my table at the same time looking at the same screen I'm looking at. Fog of war just doesn't make sense. I do have one guy abroad, and he's watching through a combination of watching through Discord and watching through YouTube. He often just watches the YouTube feed. So we have that going. Very cool, very cool. I was very happy with. But one last thing. I'm going to jump back to Dungeon Alchemist. All right, we've created this, but I've created. I created the Dire Dragon Inn. Now I can open up a new map. Open up an existing map. I'm not sure what the M stands for. Open. Okay, the reason I want to do this because we watched Yagov walk into the house, and that was cool. But now let's watch as Gloin. Our ghost. We're gonna do looks across the crowded bar. He sees all these orcs. Oh, look over there in the corner. Who's that in the corner? There's Barkworm. And through the crowd, he could just barely see the head of Yagolf. And then who is that over? Oh, is that Narenvane? Let's wander through. We're going to float through this room like a ghost. Like a ghost. Oh, there's Wheezy. She's always so upset looking. Attractive, but ready to kill. And so, going through the room. This is kind of what Gloin did, as I used the mouse to just look around the room. Ooh, that person looks intense. Going around the room. And, oh, there's somebody talking to a red wizard. Now, I bought most of these assets, right? Designed them in Hero Forge and downloaded them. They weren't free, they weren't cheap, but I was excited. Oh, here's a door. Here's a door. What's behind this door? Oh, there's another Wheezy. She's guarding the room. Who's behind that door? Let's take a peek. You gonna let me go? You let me through, Wheezy? I don't know. Oh, there's Yagolf. Oh, there's Christiana. Looks like she's about ready to shoot something. Like I said, you only get one pose. Anyway, so this I find pretty darn cool. Wow. Wow, right? How great is that software? 3D. Now, is it cooler than I need it to be? Yeah, it is. I don't need 3D. I don't need to. How would I use 3D? Maybe take these cool little 3D videos through whatever map I create. That's fun, not necessary. Fun, not necessary. Maybe someday, they will get a product. There's a product called Tailspire. The Tailspire, which is supposed to be more of like a 3D application to put your maps in, to have more of a video game type of experience. Very, very cool, very neat. Sometimes I get concerned about getting bogged down in technology, and that is a concern for me, as I don't want to fight the software. I've got enough balls to juggle as I'm doing the dungeon mastering, so I don't want to fight a software, but if it's easy, it's cool. And that's the same reason I don't put a lot of special effects in my Foundry maps, is because if they don't work, I get frustrated. I don't want to think about that. That's not why I play. I play for the experience, the storytelling, and the fun with the guys, right? And so I don't need that extra headache. But this is pretty darn cool, right? And if it's just downloading map, that's really neat. And if I can do some of this fun stuff in advance of a game or after a game, I can video it and pull it in. That's pretty cool too. What do you think? I did it on Steam. It didn't take me that long. I created the map, downloaded it, imported it, connected it to Hero Forge to get those minis, connected it to Foundry to put it into my virtual tabletop, and it all worked very smoothly. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think it's neat? Is this what you? I tell you, this is a little bit of eating crow for me, because at the same time I'm excited about this, I'm also excited about something called Dungeon Crawl Classics, which is kind of taking a step back. And I was telling my friend Noel that I was looking forward to the idea of not having anything, just doing more of a theater of a mind, right? And just piece of paper. You know what? Even saying that, I was gonna have a map, but this is going back to simpler rules and harkening to an older age of Dungeons & Dragons by using Dungeon Crawl Classics. I've been researching that. I'm pretty excited about that. I want to try it. And simpler, less rules. Simpler, easier, makes it easier for me to dungeon master. I want more storytelling, I want more imagination, and less rules, right? So there will always be the discretion of dungeon master. So I don't know that these conflict with each other, but there is some tension there, right? Because as I wanted to get into less technology, here I'm showing you a bunch of technology. So what do you think? Which would you prefer? Do you prefer a really cool, slick 3D experience? Or do you just like the idea of, theater of mind? Or are you somewhere in between? Let me know. Right, put it down in the comments. I'd appreciate it. Over the conversation, I want to know. So also, if you like this video, I appreciate it. Hit that subscribe and like. It really helps. It's mostly for my ego, right? I like seeing the comments. I like seeing the likes and leaving a comment. I'd love to engage with you. If you leave a comment, I guarantee I'm gonna respond in one way or another. So if you would please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And I appreciate it. I hope you like this content. And if you do, this week we had this week off. Next week in our normal game, we're storming the Well of Dragons, and we're going for our final push to see if we could prevent the rise of Tiamat and the Dark Queen's ascension. Till then, take care.